The millionaire was warned by the poor accountant girl, and what she found shocked everyone. Before we begin, please tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to rate the story from 1 to 10 at the end. Today, I'm going to tell you a breathtaking story that takes place in the dark corridors of Wall Street, where betrayal and love intertwine. The life of Gabriel, a millionaire CEO, is turned upside down by a warning from an accounting employee named Sarah. But what if your closest friend, your cousin whom you've trusted since childhood, and a woman you once loved were to plot your downfall together? This story features a $15 million heist, forged signatures, midnight operations, and love blooming in the most unexpected moments. While preparing for the biggest business meeting of his life, Gabriel loses his heart. Meanwhile, Sarah finds love while rebuilding dreams shattered by past false accusations. Expect heroism, sacrifice, revenge, and ultimately, triumph. You'll cry, get excited, feel angry, and breathe a sigh of relief at the happy ending. This story isn't just about a conspiracy in the business world. It's also a magnificent example of how true love is born and how honesty prevails. If you're ready, let's begin this epic story together. Gabriel Stone watches the evening traffic on Wall Street from the glass window of his Manhattan office, thinking about the final details of next week's meeting. The 35-year-old CEO of Stone Financial Technologies had caught the attention of the financial world with the company he'd built in 5 years. Documents scattered across his mahogany desk contained technical details of the company's new hedge fund software. In a week, he would present this revolutionary software to investors from Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. Framed articles about the company's success story and the cover page of the New York Times titled "Wall Street's Youngest Revolutionary" hung on his office walls. His large glass desk was covered with pages of graphs and performance analyses for the upcoming presentation. A gentle knock came at the door and Gabriel looked up. "Come in," he said, setting down the report in his hand. The door slowly opened, and a young woman in her mid-20s entered. Her brown hair was pulled back in a bun, and obvious concern showed in her large brown eyes. She wore a simple navy suit that looked professional, but the way she gripped the folder tightly and bit her lips slightly betrayed her nervousness. "Excuse me, Mr. Stone," the woman said. The tremor in her voice caught Gabriel's attention. "I have an urgent matter I need to discuss with you. Are you available?" Gabriel looked at her curiously. He sensed urgency in her posture and genuine concern in her eyes. "Of course. Please have a seat. Who are you?" "Sarah Grace from the accounting department. I started working here last month." Sarah's hands trembled at the edges of the folder. She sat on the edge of the chair, trying to keep her back straight. "Mr. Stone, this is a very difficult situation. I've discovered some abnormal situations in the company's financial records." Gabriel frowned, setting down his pen and focusing on Sarah. "What kind of abnormalities, Miss Grace?" Sarah took a deep breath, as if what she was about to say burned her mouth. Her hands were still trembling as she opened her folder. "There have been large transfers made from company accounts. These transfers don't match our normal operational expenses at all." She showed Gabriel the pages she pulled from her folder. "In the last 3 weeks, a total of $8 million. $8 million? Gabriel's voice was a mixture of surprise and slight irritation. He stood up and took a few steps toward Sarah. "Miss Grace, this is a very serious accusation. Are you sure about these figures?" "Yes, Mr. Stone. Unfortunately, I'm very sure." Her voice became more determined, and genuine concern shone in her eyes. She pointed at the numbers on the pages. "This money has been transferred to a company called Caribbean Banking Corporation. I'd never heard of them before, and when I researched the company, I could find very little information." Gabriel walked to the window and clasped his hands behind his back. The evening light hit his face as he looked thoughtful. Caribbean Banking Corporation. This name doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Do we do business with such a company? Sarah shook her head. No, Mr. Stone. It's not on our list of normal business partners. That's why it caught my attention. Gabriel turned to her, crossing his arms over his chest. Well, Miss Grace, how did you access this information? Do you have authorization to access this type of information? Sarah's face flushed slightly as she placed her hands on her knees. I'm an accounting assistant, but I graduated from Columbia University with a degree in finance. I have experience analyzing numbers. She paused, trying to gauge Gabriel's reaction. I noticed these transfers while organizing records. The numbers were very striking. Gabriel walked around his desk and sat across from Sarah. Columbia finance graduate. Impressive. So, what else have you discovered about these transfers? Sarah opened her folder again and continued shuffling through the pages. Mr. Stone, what's really strange is... She lowered her voice as if the walls had ears. All of these transfers appear to have been made with your authorization. But when I did signature analysis... Signature analysis? Gabriel leaned forward, locking eyes with Sarah. Do you have experience in this area, too? Yes. When I was an intern at Goldman Sachs, I performed this type of analysis. Sarah moved her finger across the document. There are clear differences between your normal signature and the signatures on these documents. Line thickness, letter connections, general fluency. These aren't signatures made by the same person. Gabriel stood up and began pacing around the room. Miss Grace, are you saying that someone is forging my signature and making unauthorized money transfers from company accounts? This is a very serious allegation. Unfortunately, that's how it appears, Mr. Stone. Sarah's voice was now more determined. Also, these transactions were generally made late at night. According to security records, you weren't here at those times. Gabriel stopped and turned to Sarah. Where did you get this information? The accounting department can access security records in a system. I checked the times you entered and exited the building. I saw that you weren't in the building on the nights these transfers were made. Gabriel went to the window and looked at the Wall Street traffic below. Evening lights reflected off the glass surfaces of the skyscrapers. Miss Grace, have you shared this information with anyone else? Sarah nodded. No, Mr. Stone. I only wanted to talk to you. I understand how sensitive this situation is. But... She paused, trying to gauge Gabriel's reaction. But what? Next week's investor meeting is very important. If something goes wrong and it comes to light. Gabriel turned to her, a serious expression on his face. Miss Grace, understand that I built my company from scratch. I personally selected everyone in each of my departments. I trust them. Especially the people in my family. He paused, thoughtful. Who would sabotage me and why? Sarah hesitated, biting her lip. I don't know, Mr. Stone. But people can change. Money, power, jealousy. These things can blind a person. Gabriel sat at his desk, putting his head in his hands. Miss Grace, do we have concrete evidence? I mean, do we have official documents that would hold up in court? Sarah's face fell. That's where the problem starts, Mr. Stone. I'm an accounting assistant, so I don't have access to the upper-level sections of the system. I can only see routine records. To access the full details of these transfers and account information, I need higher authorization. Gabriel looked up at Sarah. So right now you only have suspicious numbers. You have no solid evidence. Unfortunately, yes. But Mr. Stone, Sarah leaned forward, a pleading expression in her eyes. These numbers don't lie. Someone is sabotaging your company from the inside. I can't ignore this while you're preparing for next week's meeting. Gabriel stood up and approached Sarah. Ms. Grace, I appreciate your courage. But understand that dealing with such a situation requires great care. He paused, standing by the window. If there really is internal sabotage, we need to be very careful. Trusting the wrong person could result in disaster. Sarah nodded. Of course, Mr. Stone. I just did what I thought was right. Gabriel turned to her. Miss Grace, since you brought up this topic, may I ask you a candid question? Of course, Mr. Stone. Why are you really working here? You're a Columbia finance graduate with Goldman Sachs experience. Is the accounting assistant position just a temporary situation for you? Sarah's face changed, and a painful expression appeared in her eyes. This is a bit of a long story, Mr. Stone. Gabriel sat at his desk, focusing on Sarah. We have time. I'm listening. Sarah took a deep breath and clasped her hands together. I had actually started a very promising career. I completed my internship at Goldman Sachs and received several important offers. She paused, lowering her eyes. What happened? At my previous workplace, there was a woman named Julia Winters. She was very talented but also very jealous. I was younger and more successful, which bothered her. Sarah's voice began to tremble. Gabriel listened with interest. Continue. Julia accused me of financial misconduct. It was, of course, a false accusation, but she had very powerful connections. She leaked the story to the media. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. The media campaign was so big that no financial institution would hire me. My name was blacklisted. Gabriel stood up and approached Sarah. That's very unfair, Miss Grace. Being subjected to such slander must have been difficult. It was, Mr. Stone. Watching my dreams collapse and seeing my talents go to waste was awful. Sarah tried to wipe away her tears. Thankfully, you accepted me when I finally found this place. Gabriel took on a thoughtful expression. Julia Winters. Why does this name sound familiar? I don't know, Mr. Stone. Maybe you heard it in financial circles. Gabriel sat at his desk and looked at Sarah for a long time. Miss Grace, how is your mother doing? Sarah was surprised. Her eyes widened. My mother? How do you? I saw the family status information in your HR file. It said she was ill, didn't it? Sarah's face tensed and her hands began to tremble. Yes, Mr. Stone, my mother is in very bad condition. She had a sudden brain hemorrhage 3 weeks ago. She's now in intensive care. Gabriel stood up and approached Sarah. I'm very sorry, Miss Grace. This must be a very difficult situation. The doctors say she needs urgent surgery, but... Sarah's voice became hoarse. The surgery costs $100,000. I'm taking care of my mother alone, and I can't afford that. Gabriel felt genuine sadness. Miss Grace, this is a very heavy burden. It must be difficult to continue working in this situation. Yes, but I have no other choice. This job is valuable to me, and the health insurance benefits my mother. Sarah tried to wipe away her tears. But Mr. Stone, my mother's condition is not related to this matter. I just wanted to protect the company. Gabriel sat at his desk, thoughtful. Miss Grace, this conversation must stay between us. Don't mention it to anyone, not a soul. Agreed. Agreed, Mr. Stone. If you notice anything new, come to me immediately. Not to anyone else, only to me. Sarah nodded. I understand, Mr. Stone. Gabriel stood up. Thank you for this information, Miss Grace. Your courage is commendable. I'll work carefully on this matter. Sarah was about to stand up when Gabriel continued. Miss Grace, one more thing. What did you learn about the Caribbean Banking Corporation? Not much, Mr. Stone. There's very little information on the internet. It appears to be registered in the Cayman Islands, but it doesn't seem to have a physical address. Sarah paused, trying to gauge Gabriel's reaction. Continue. These types of banks are usually, well... Sarah hesitated. Don't hesitate. Say it. They're usually used for money laundering, Mr. Stone. Sarah's voice dropped to a whisper. Gabriel's face became serious. That's a very serious accusation, Miss Grace. If this is true, then my company is involved in a serious crime. Yes, Mr. Stone. That's why I came to you. Gabriel went to the window and watched the lights below. Miss Grace, one last question. On which days were these transfers made? Sarah checked her folder. All on Thursday nights, Mr. Stone. According to system records, someone stays here until late on Thursday nights. Gabriel's heartbeat quickened. Who? I don't know exactly, but I can show you in the security logs. Gabriel turned to her. Miss Grace, this is valuable information. We need to investigate this matter further. Sarah stood up and gathered her folder. Mr. Stone, I can help you. What can I do? Gabriel thought. For now, just keep your eyes open. If you see anything unusual, take note. But don't put yourself at risk. I understand, Mr. Stone. Sarah was getting ready to leave the room, but she stopped at the door. Mr. Stone, there's one more thing. What is it, Miss Grace? About the person who was in the building when these transfers were made, maybe security cameras could be checked. Gabriel nodded. You're right. That should be investigated as well. After Sarah left the room, Gabriel became lost in thought. $8 million, forged signatures, Caribbean accounts, and someone working late on Thursday night. Who was this person? In the corridor, Sarah noticed Judas Hunter watching her as soon as she opened the door. Gabriel's cousin was standing in the corner as if waiting for her. He was 29 years old, handsome, with dark chestnut hair and green eyes like Gabriel's. He was the operations manager. When Sarah approached him, Judas smiled, but it didn't seem genuine. Miss Grace, you've had a long meeting with Gabriel. Is everything all right? Sarah looked at him suspiciously. It was just routine reporting, Mr. Hunter. Ah, I see. What kind of report did you give? Judas's eyes scanned Sarah's face. Sarah sensed his unease. General accounting matters, Mr. Hunter. Very technical subjects. Judas approached, entering her personal space. You're a very careful employee, Miss Grace. This is commendable, but sometimes curiosity can be dangerous. Sarah's heartbeat quickened. Was there a hidden threat in these words? What do you mean, Mr. Hunter? Judas's smile widened, but his eyes were cold. I just want everyone in the company to be safe and happy. Sometimes, asking too many questions can put a person in a difficult position. Sarah nodded and walked away quickly. But she continued to feel Judas's eyes on her. That evening, when Sarah went home, her mind was in turmoil. Everything she had told Gabriel was true, yet Judas's behavior seemed strange to her. Why was the man so curious? What did that hidden threat mean? She went to the hospital to visit her mother. Laurel Grace, a beautiful 50-year-old woman, now lay connected to machines. The doctor approached Sarah. Miss Grace, your mother's condition is stable but critical. We can't postpone the surgery any longer. Is there any update on the financial situation? Sarah's heart tightened. Not yet, doctor, but I'll find a solution. Please don't lose hope for my mother. When she returned home, she thought about Gabriel Stone. He had given her a chance when all doors were closed due to false accusations, believing in her and hiring her. At least she could help him protect his company. The next day, when Sarah came to work, she felt Judas's gaze on her constantly. The man was watching her, and it made her uncomfortable. During her lunch break, Gabriel's secretary approached her. Miss Grace, Mr. Stone wants to see you. When Sarah went to Gabriel's office, she found him deep in thought. He stood up and showed her a seat. Miss Grace, I did some research on the matter we discussed yesterday. Sarah leaned forward excitedly. What did you find, Mr. Stone? The Caribbean Banking Corporation is indeed a suspicious organization. It's on the list of shell banks used for money laundering. Gabriel sat at his desk. This is a very serious situation. So, what are we going to do? He looked at her. Miss Grace, we need to gather more evidence on this matter. But we must be very careful. How can I help? Gabriel thought. Tonight, after company hours, be careful. Pay attention to who stays late and what they do. Observe, but don't put yourself at risk. Sarah nodded. I understand, Mr. Stone. That evening, Sarah waited until after company hours. When most employees left, she noticed Judas was still in the building. She began to secretly follow him. He walked towards Soho and entered a narrow street surrounded by old brick buildings. He entered an elegant cafe with a Blue Note Café sign. Sarah watched from across the street. A few minutes later, she saw a tall, blonde, breathtakingly beautiful woman enter the cafe. She took out her phone, started the voice recording app, and approached the cafe. She went inside and sat at a table in the back corner. Judas and the woman were seated at the front table. "This is very risky, Ava," Judas said in a worried voice. "Gabriel is starting to get suspicious." A girl from the accounting department came and asked questions about financial transfers. Ava Blackwood gave a cold smile. "Which girl, Judas?" "Sarah Grace. She just started, but she seems very careful. She told Gabriel about some suspicious transfers." "What did Gabriel say?" "He didn't completely believe her, but—" "Ava, if that girl digs deeper, our plan could be exposed." Ava took a sip of her coffee. "Judas, you're worrying too much. Gabriel trusts you, he'll never suspect." "What about next week's meeting? The hedge software codes?" "Don't worry. Victor will handle everything. We'll get the codes, and by the time Gabriel presents his software, we'll already be finished." Sarah's heart was beating wildly. These people were really betraying Gabriel. "Ava, sometimes I feel bad. Gabriel is my cousin. We've known each other since childhood." "Judas!" Ava's voice hardened. "This sentimentality won't get you anywhere. He's rich and successful, but you've always lived in his shadow. Now it's your time." "You're right. Once this business is finished, I won't be in anyone's shadow anymore. The money transfers are continuing as well. We'll make the last big transfer this weekend. It's too late for Gabriel to notice." Sarah had heard enough. She quietly left the cafe while her phone was still recording. Now she had concrete evidence. That night she couldn't sleep. Judas and Ava's words wouldn't leave her mind. Victor will handle everything. Money transfers continue. Betraying Gabriel. The next morning, Sarah called Gabriel early and requested a meeting. "Mr. Stone, I need to meet with you urgently. I've obtained some very important information." Gabriel's voice was excited. "Miss Grace, come to my office immediately." When Sarah arrived at Gabriel's office, she found him looking worried. "Miss Grace, what did you learn?" Sarah took out her phone. "Mr. Stone, yesterday evening, I recorded a very important conversation. This will confirm your suspicions." Gabriel leaned forward. "Let's listen." When Sarah played the recording, Judas's and Ava's voices filled the room. As the conversation progressed, Gabriel's face changed. When the recording ended, he slumped in his chair. "Miss Grace, this is unbelievable. So Judas is really betraying me." "Unfortunately, that's how it appears, Mr. Stone. There's also someone named Victor who's part of the conspiracy." Gabriel stood up and began pacing around the room. "Victor Kane. He's one of our most successful employees in the marketing department. I loved her very much, but she said she was choosing different paths and left." Gabriel walked to the window. Apparently, her real intention was very different. Emma stood up and took out her notebook. "Gabriel, this recording is valuable, but it might not be enough in court on its own. We need to gather more evidence." "That's exactly what I think. What do you suggest?" Emma answered with a thoughtful expression. "First, I need to examine the financial records in detail. I need to find these Caribbean Banking Corporation transfers. Then, I'll check the system access logs to see who accessed what and when." "How long will these processes take?" "A few days. But, Gabriel, we need to be careful. If they realize we suspect them, they might change their plans." Just then, there was a knock on the door. Gabriel and Emma looked at each other. Gabriel went to the door. "Come in," he said. Sarah entered. Her brown hair was wavy today. She was wearing a blue blouse and a black skirt. Gabriel couldn't help but notice how elegant she looked. Mr. Stone, I apologize if I'm disturbing you. There's new information about what I recorded last night. Gabriel immediately pulled himself together. No, Sarah, it's not a disturbance. Meet Emma Rodriguez, our security expert. Emma, this is Sarah Grace, the brave young woman I told you about yesterday. Emma stood up and shook hands with Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Gabriel told me a lot about you. The courage you showed is truly admirable. Sarah was embarrassed. Thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez. I just did what I thought was right. Gabriel seated Sarah in the chair. Sarah, you mentioned new information. What did you learn? Sarah took her notebook out of her bag. I came in early this morning and examined the accounting records in more detail. These transfers to the Caribbean Banking Corporation haven't just been going on for the last 3 weeks, they've been happening for the last 3 months. Emma leaned forward. How much money has been withdrawn in total? $12 million. Sarah's voice was serious. But what's really interesting is this. These transfers are always made on Thursday nights at 11:30. With precise regularity. Gabriel stood up and started pacing around the room. $12 million. That's a very large sum. Emma asked, taking notes. Sarah, what about the system records of these transfers? Are there IP addresses or access information? That's the problem here, Mrs. Rodriguez. The system records of these transfers look very clean. They look as if they were done professionally. Gabriel stopped and looked at Sarah. What do you mean? Sarah turned the page. In normal transfers, the system keeps numerous logs. It records which computer the transfer was entered from, the IP address, and how long the transfer stayed in the system. But in these transfers, these details are scarce. Emma stood up. This means someone knows how to erase the system traces. Professional sabotage. Also, Sarah continued, there's more to what I recorded last night. When Judas and Ava left the cafe, I followed them from a distance. Gabriel's heartbeat quickened. Sarah, that was very dangerous. What if they had noticed you? Those who have followed the story up to this point should write their favorite color in the comment. Let's see how many of us there are. I should also mention that in our next story, you'll hear the tale of a millionaire and a homeless woman. Don't forget to listen to this drama, an emotion-filled story that will make your emotions soar. Now, let's continue. Sarah noticed Gabriel's worried tone and felt warm inside. I was careful, Mr. Stone. But I learned something very important. Emma asked curiously. What was it? I learned that Ava lives in a luxury apartment in Tribeca. This apartment is very expensive. You can't live there on a normal income. So she must already have money. Gabriel was thoughtful. When we broke up 2 years ago, Ava didn't have much money. Sometimes I even had to make payments for her. Where did this money come from? Emma intervened. Gabriel, I'm going to look into this Ava Blackwood. Her financial situation, her activities over the last 2 years. I'll find out everything. Sarah took her phone out of her bag. Mrs. Rodriguez, there's one more thing. This morning I observed Judas. He's acting very strangely. What kind of behavior? Gabriel approached and sat in the chair next to Sarah. He's constantly making phone calls, but he never makes them in his office. He either goes to the bathroom or outside. Sarah turned to Gabriel. These calls are always at the same times, during his lunch break and when he leaves in the evening. Emma asked, taking note. Could you hear the content of these conversations? No, I was watching from too far away. But you could tell from his facial expression that he was very tense. Gabriel went to his desk and checked the calendar. Today is Thursday. According to the conversation Sarah recorded, a new transfer will be made tonight. Emma stood up. Gabriel, we can't miss tonight. If we can catch them red-handed. You're right, Emma. So, what do we do? Emma explained her plan. Tonight, I'll hide in the building. I'll monitor the security cameras and see who's doing what. You'll appear to be at home, but actually stay nearby. Sarah interrupted. I can help too. The accounting department is empty late at night. I can observe from there. Gabriel immediately objected. Sarah, no. This is too dangerous. But Mr. Stone, I'm the only person with access to the accounting system. If the transfer needs to be monitored in real time, I have to be there, Emma thought. Gabriel, Sarah is right. But she needs to be very careful. Gabriel looked at Sarah. Concern was evident in his eyes. Sarah, are you sure? These people stole $12 million. They could be dangerous. Sarah looked into Gabriel's eyes. I'm sure, Mr. Stone. I want to protect this company. And… She stopped, her cheeks reddening. I want to help you. Gabriel looked at Sarah for a long time. She was not only brave, but she also seemed to have special feelings for him. Emma intervened, breaking the tension. Well, our plan is this. We'll meet here at 10 p.m. tonight. Gabriel, give Judas the impression that you're home. Sarah, wait in the accounting department. I'll coordinate everything from the security room. During the lunch break, Gabriel had lunch with Sarah in the company cafeteria. They were both trying to ease the tension. Sarah, did you tell your family about this situation? Gabriel asked, stirring his coffee. Sarah took on a sad expression. My mother is in the hospital, and she's not doing well. I don't want to worry her with such things. She already has enough stress. Gabriel approached her. Sarah, about the money for your mother's surgery. Sarah raised her hand. Mr. Stone, please. Let's not discuss this. My mother's situation is separate from this work. But Sarah, you're taking a very big risk. For this company and for me. At least. Sarah cut Gabriel off. Gabriel, she said, using his name for the first time. You gave me a chance. After Julia's slander, no one would hire me. You did. That's enough. Gabriel took Sarah's hand. Sarah, you're a very special woman. Your courage, your honesty, your character. I appreciate it all. Sarah's heartbeat quickened. Gabriel's hand was warm and reassuring. Thank you, Gabriel. Sarah took notes, her heart racing. Judas was really going to act tonight. At 9 p.m., Sarah called Gabriel to report the latest situation. Gabriel, Judas hasn't left the building yet. He's still in his office. I understand, Sarah. Where are you? I'm at home getting ready. We'll meet at 10. Sarah, I'm saying this one last time. This could be dangerous. Sarah could hear the concern in Gabriel's voice. Gabriel, don't worry. I'll be careful. And you be careful too. At 10 o'clock, the three of them met at the company building. The building was mostly empty except for the security guards. Emma presented the plan. Sarah, you go to the accounting department. Gabriel, stay with me in the security room. We'll watch Judas from the cameras. As Sarah went to the accounting department, her heart beat fast. She turned on her computer and prepared to monitor system transfers. Meanwhile, in the security room, Gabriel and Emma were watching the cameras. They could see that Judas was still in his office. Gabriel, look, Emma said, pointing to the screen. Judas sat down at his computer. He's doing something. At 11:15, Sarah's phone vibrated. Gabriel was calling. Sarah, is there any system activity? Sarah looked at the screen. Yes, Gabriel. A large money transfer has begun. $5 million is being transferred to the Caribbean Banking Corporation. Gabriel looked at Emma. We caught him red-handed. Emma stood up. Gabriel, we should go to Judas now and stop him. Wait, Emma, Gabriel called to Sarah. Sarah, is the transfer complete? No, it's still processing. It will take about 3 more minutes. Gabriel turned to Emma. Sarah needs to be there to stop the transfer. Emma, you stop Judas. I'll help Sarah. Emma ran out and Gabriel ran to the accounting department. He found Sarah at the computer. Gabriel, the transfer is still ongoing. Can we stop it? Gabriel sat next to her. What should we do? We need the system administrator password. Then we can cancel the transfer. Gabriel entered the password, and the transfer was cancelled. We did it, Sarah. Sarah hugged Gabriel with joy. We saved $5 million. As Gabriel hugged Sarah, he felt the powerful chemistry between them. He could smell her hair and feel the warmth of her body. Sarah, you were amazing, Gabriel whispered. Sarah raised her head from Gabriel's chest. Her eyes shone. We did it together. As they looked at each other, they moved closer. Gabriel touched Sarah's face. Sarah, you. Just then, Emma's voice echoed in the corridor. Gabriel. Judas escaped. Gabriel and Sarah separated. They ran to her. What happened, Emma? When Judas saw me, he quickly closed the computer and left. I chased him, but he got away. Sarah asked curiously. So, what will happen now? Gabriel was thoughtful. Judas must have panicked. He'll probably call Ava and tell her what's going on. Emma, we missed tonight, but we have evidence of the cancelled transfer. Emma nodded. Yes, and the system records too. There's evidence that Judas tried to make this transfer. Sarah interrupted. But they can change their plans now. They might do something else before next week's meeting. Gabriel turned to Sarah. You're right. This war has just begun. Late that night, Gabriel dropped Sarah off at her house. They sat silently in the car. Sarah, you were very brave tonight. Thank you. Sarah turned to Gabriel. Gabriel, you were brave too. And... She stopped. And what? What happened between us tonight? I didn't imagine it, did I? Gabriel smiled. No, Sarah, you didn't imagine it. Before getting out of the car, Sarah approached Gabriel. Gabriel, after this situation is resolved, maybe. Gabriel took Sarah's hand. Sarah, I was thinking the same thing. Sarah smiled and got out of the car. Gabriel watched her walk to the door, experiencing a range of emotions. Sarah had been by his side through this difficult situation, and a special bond had formed between them. The next morning, when Gabriel arrived at work, he noticed that Judas's office was empty. His secretary approached him. Mr. Stone, Judas Hunter sent a message saying he resigned. He had an urgent family situation. Gabriel's blood froze. Judas had escaped. He immediately called Sarah. Sarah, Judas resigned. They escaped. Oh my God! What will we do now? There are 6 days left until the meeting, Sarah. We have to solve everything in those 6 days. Gabriel, I'm with you. We'll handle everything together. As Gabriel hung up the phone, he realized how valuable Sarah's support was. She was more than just a work colleague. She was also a woman he could trust and love. For 3 days after Judas's escape, Gabriel and Sarah hardly separated. They had breakfast together every morning, worked side by side all day, and discussed their plans in the evenings. Emma supported them as well, gathering technical evidence. However, the main focus was the strengthening bond between Gabriel and Sarah and the approaching investor meeting. On Saturday morning, Gabriel called Sarah with a special offer. Sarah, let's take a break from work today and catch our breath. How about taking a walk in Central Park? Sarah's voice trembled with happiness on the phone. That's a great idea, Gabriel. After these stressful days, some fresh air is exactly what we need. That afternoon, as they walked along the paths of Central Park decorated with autumn leaves, Gabriel saw Sarah outside of the work environment for the first time. Her casual jeans, soft cashmere sweater, and naturally wavy hair made her beauty even more apparent. Sarah, I don't know how to thank you for being by my side during such a challenging process, Gabriel said as sunlight filtered through the leaves and hit his face. Sarah turned to him, her smile sincere and warm. Gabriel, I should thank you. You trusted me. You listened to me. No one else ever did that. They sat on a bench and looked at the lake view in silence, feeling the emotions inside them. Gabriel took Sarah's hand. This time, there was no work excuse. Sarah, I want to confess something to you. Sarah's heartbeat quickened. What, Gabriel? Normally, in such a difficult situation, I should have focused only on solving the crisis. But I can't stop thinking about you. Your safety, your happiness. Gabriel stopped and looked into Sarah's eyes. I think I'm falling in love with you. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but they were tears of happiness. Gabriel, I feel the same way. From the first day, there was much more inside me than the trust and respect you showed me. Gabriel approached Sarah and touched her face. Sarah, once this situation is resolved, I want to start a real relationship with you. Sarah smiled. I want that too, Gabriel. But first, we have to save your company. Gabriel kissed Sarah for the first time. It was a soft, tender kiss, and they both knew it was just the beginning. On Monday morning, Emma brought important information to Gabriel's office that concerned both Sarah and Gabriel. Gabriel, Sarah, I've learned a lot about Ava Blackwood in the last 3 days, Emma said, placing the thick file on the desk. Sarah leaned forward, curious. What did you learn, Mrs. Rodriguez? First, it was revealed that Ava has been spending large sums of money for the last 2 years. She's been living in a luxury apartment, driving expensive cars, and wearing designer clothes. The source of this money was unclear. Gabriel looked thoughtful. She didn't have this kind of lifestyle when she was with me. According to my research, Emma continued, Ava has deceived at least 4 company owners in the last 2 years. She used the same tactic with all of them. Sarah asked in amazement. What tactic? Emma opened the file and took out photos and documents. First, she approaches with her ex-girlfriend identity. Then, she manipulates someone inside the company to steal software code. Then, she weakens the company with financial sabotage and establishes her own company to compete with them. Gabriel stood up and walked to the window. So I wasn't just her last victim. Ava has been doing this systematically. Yes, Gabriel. Now, her biggest target is your hedge software. It's truly revolutionary technology. Sarah turned to Emma. So, what did you learn about Victor Kane? Emma opened the second file. Victor really has big debts. Gambling debts, credit card debts. His total debt is $300,000. Ava promised him $2 million. Gabriel turned around. Where is Victor now? He's still working at the company. But he's tense and constantly making phone calls. Sarah put forward an idea. Gabriel, can't we get Victor on our side? Maybe if we tell him the truth. Gabriel thought. It's worth trying. Victor is actually a good person. If he realizes Ava's manipulation, maybe he'll cooperate, Emma warned. But we need to be careful. If Victor reports us to Ava, we have to take the risk, Gabriel said. Sarah, would you try talking to Victor? I think he trusts you more. Sarah nodded. Of course, Gabriel. I'll talk to him. During her lunch break, Sarah found Victor in the company cafeteria. The 32-year-old marketing specialist looked tense and constantly checked his phone. Victor, can I talk to you? Sarah sat next to him. He was startled when he saw her. Sarah, of course. About what? Sarah looked around, trying to make sure no one was listening. Victor, I know you're in a difficult situation. Victor's face turned pale. What do you mean? Your financial situation, your debts. And the deal Ava Blackwood offered you. Victor tried to stand up, but Sarah held his hand. Victor, please don't run away. I'm not here to judge you. Victor sat down. His hands were shaking. Sarah, I made a very big mistake. I know, Victor. But it's not too late yet. Victor lowered his eyes to the ground. Ava was very convincing. She said that Gabriel is already a millionaire and that a little software code wouldn't hurt him. Since I have debts, why should I miss the opportunity? Sarah approached him. Her voice was soft. Victor, Ava used you. She didn't just deceive Gabriel. She had previously deceived 4 other company owners the same way. Victor raised his head. He was in shock. Really? Sarah nodded. Victor, if you continue to be part of this plan, Gabriel won't be the only one harmed. You'll also become an accomplice. You could go to prison. Victor's eyes filled with tears. Sarah, what can I do? I gave my word to Ava. Victor, you can do what's right. You can help Gabriel. Victor thought for a long time, then looked at Sarah. If I help Gabriel, what will happen to my debts? Sarah gave him a reassuring smile. Victor, Gabriel is a very kind person. If you help him, he'll help you too. But most importantly, you'll have done what's right. Victor took a deep breath. Okay, Sarah. I'll help Gabriel. But Ava is very dangerous. If she realizes her plan is ruined. Don't worry, Victor. We'll handle it together. That evening, Gabriel, Sarah, and Emma met secretly with Victor. Victor told them Ava's entire plan. Ava's plan was this, said Victor, placing his hands on the table. The day before the meeting on Tuesday, meaning Monday night, we would steal all the codes from the hedge software. I would provide system access, and Judas would neutralize the security measures. Gabriel asked curiously. So what is she planning to do now without Judas? Ava hired an outside hacker to replace Judas. On Monday night, this hacker will infiltrate the system, and I'll help him. Emma stood up. This is very important information, Victor. What were they going to do after stealing the codes? During Tuesday's meeting, while Gabriel was presenting the software, Ava was going to announce that her company had developed the same software. She was even planning to release a more advanced version to the market. Sarah asked angrily, "What about the financial sabotage? What about those transfer operations?" Victor hung his head. I wasn't aware of that part. Judas and Ava were doing it secretly. I only agreed to steal the software codes. Gabriel approached Victor. Victor, what are you prepared to do now? Victor looked determined. Gabriel, I'll help you. We'll catch Ava and the hacker red-handed. Emma started making plans. On Monday night, you'll pretend to access the system, but we'll actually record everything. We'll catch both Ava and the hacker. Gabriel was thoughtful. This plan is risky. If we make a mistake somewhere. Sarah took Gabriel's hand. Gabriel, we have no other choice. We have to win this war. Gabriel looked at Sarah, drawing strength from her courage. You're right, Sarah. Let's end everything Monday night. On Monday evening, Gabriel and Sarah were making their final preparations at Gabriel's house. His Manhattan apartment was modern and elegant, but today, they were only thinking about the next day's plan. We'll solve this crisis before tomorrow's meeting, Sarah said, sitting in Gabriel's chair and drinking tea. Gabriel approached her and sat next to her. Sarah, I don't know what I would have done without you during this process. Sarah took Gabriel's hand. Gabriel, I just did what was right. But you changed my life. How? You trusted me, listened to me, and valued me. After Julia's slander, no one had treated me like this. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Gabriel hugged her. Sarah, you're an amazing woman. Smart, brave, honest, and very beautiful. Sarah raised her head to Gabriel's chest. Gabriel, after everything is over tomorrow. Gabriel kissed Sarah more passionately and decisively this time. Sarah, after everything is over tomorrow, I want to build a real life with you. Sarah smiled. Me too, Gabriel. Me too. As they embraced, they prepared for the final battle they would face the next day. At midnight, Emma called. Gabriel and Sarah, everything is ready. Victor talked to Ava. The hacker will enter the system at 2 a.m. Gabriel hung up and looked at Sarah. Are you ready? Sarah looked determined. I'm ready, Gabriel. We'll finish this job together. At 1:30 a.m., the three of them were in the company building. Victor looked tense yet determined. Emma was in the security room while Gabriel and Sarah were in the accounting department. At 2 o'clock, Victor's phone rang. It was Ava. Ava, yes, I'm ready. Did the hacker come? Okay, I'm entering the system now. Victor signaled to Gabriel. The plan had begun. He sat at his computer while Emma recorded everything and watched from the security cameras. Gabriel and Sarah stood right next to him. "I'm in the system," Victor said into the phone. "Where are the hedge software codes?" "Okay, I found them. Starting download." Suddenly, rapid footsteps approached from the main entrance of the company. Emma reported via radio, "Attention! Ava entered the building. There's a man with her." Gabriel and Sarah's heartbeats quickened. Ava was coming. A few minutes later, she and the hacker came to the accounting department. When Ava saw Victor, she smiled. "Victor, you're doing excellent work. Do you have the codes?" Victor held up the USB. "Yes, Ava. Everything is here." As Ava took the USB, Gabriel and Sarah emerged from their hiding place. "Ava, is this what you were looking for?" Ava froze, shocked, when she saw Gabriel. "Gabriel? What are you doing here?" He showed her the phone in his hand. He had recorded everything. Watching justice being served. Sarah stepped forward as well. "Victor is with us, Ava. He didn't betray you, he helped us." Ava looked angrily at him. "Victor, you betrayed me." Victor stood up. Determination filled his voice. "No, Ava. I did what was right. You deceived me." Ava turned to the hacker next to her. "Jake, implement the plan." But Jake raised his hands. "Sorry, Ava. I don't want to be involved in this business anymore. This has become like a police movie." Just then, Emma entered with security guards. "Ava Blackwood, you're under arrest for corporate sabotage, fraud, and theft." Ava looked at Gabriel with one last glimmer of hope. "Gabriel, we once loved each other. Give me a chance." Gabriel took Sarah's hand. "Ava, you never loved me. You just used me. But now I know what real love is." Sarah smiled at Gabriel, and he smiled back. As Ava was being taken away, she screamed, "Gabriel, you won't forget this. This isn't over." Gabriel hugged Sarah. "It's over, Sarah. Everything is over. Now, it's just us." Sarah kissed Gabriel. "Yes, Gabriel. Now our story is just beginning." Emma watched them, smiling. "Gabriel and Sarah, congratulations. You won this war." Victor approached as well. "Gabriel, can you forgive me?" Gabriel touched Victor's shoulder. "Victor, you did the right thing. That's enough." By 4 a.m., everything was over. Ava and Jake had been taken into custody and evidence had been handed over to security. Gabriel and Sarah embraced at the company exit. "Gabriel, you have your most important meeting in a few hours. Are you ready?" Gabriel smiled. "With you by my side, Sarah, I'm ready for anything." Sarah approached him. "Gabriel, I love you." Gabriel kissed her. "I love you too, Sarah. This is just the beginning." On Tuesday morning, as the sun rose, Gabriel and Sarah woke up after only a few hours of sleep. Their night together at Gabriel's house had opened a new chapter in their relationship. At breakfast, they were both tired but happy. "Gabriel, today is one of the most important days of your life," Sarah said, sitting at the kitchen table and looking at him. "You're going to present the hedge software, and there are no more obstacles." Gabriel smiled while drinking his coffee. "Sarah, this success isn't just mine. Without you, my company could have been ruined. You're the biggest partner in this victory." Sarah shyly lowered her head. "I just did what was right." Gabriel sat next to her and took her hand. "Sarah, you're the most important part of my life now. When this meeting is over, I want to plan our future together." Sarah's heart started beating rapidly. "What kind of plans, Gabriel?" Gabriel leaned in, looking into her eyes as he answered. "Being together, starting a family, making your dreams come true. Everything." Sarah kissed Gabriel, tears in her eyes. "I want the same things, Gabriel." They arrived at the company together at 9 o'clock. The building showed no signs of last night, but the happiness in Gabriel's and Sarah's eyes was noticeable. Emma greeted them. "Gabriel, Sarah, the inspectors are here." Ava and Jake's interrogation continues. They examined all the evidence and said the case is very solid. Gabriel nodded with satisfaction. Great, Emma. How is Victor? Victor is very remorseful and is cooperating. I think he'll get a light sentence, maybe even none at all, because he chose the right side at the last moment. Sarah asked curiously. Any news about Judas? Emma looked thoughtful. Judas is still missing, but the police are looking for him. He'll probably be found today or tomorrow. Around noon, while Gabriel was finishing up his preparations, Sarah tried to boost his morale. Gabriel, you'll give the best presentation. Your hedge software is truly revolutionary. Gabriel nodded stressfully. Sarah, what if the investors heard about last night's events? What if they stopped trusting my company? Sarah took Gabriel's arms and turned him toward her. Gabriel, look at me. You're an honest and successful businessman. Last night, you fought to protect your company. That makes you look strong, not weak. Gabriel looked into Sarah's eyes. Her words were true. You always say the right thing, Sarah. Because I believe in you, Gabriel. And I love you. Gabriel kissed Sarah. I love you too. After this meeting, I want to tell you something very important. What will you tell me? Gabriel smiled. You'll find out tonight. At 2 p.m, investors started arriving at the meeting hall. 3 Goldman Sachs executives, 2 J.P. Morgan directors, a Blackstone team, and representatives from other major investment funds filled the hall. Sarah sat in the back rows watching Gabriel. Emma was standing nearby as well. Victor was in his place, looking very tense. When Gabriel took the stage, he looked confident. His dark navy suit, perfect hairstyle, and confident posture made him very impressive. Dear investors and colleagues, Gabriel began, addressing the microphone. Today, I'm proud to present Stone Financial Technologies' greatest innovation. The logo for the hedge software appeared on the big screen, and the hall filled with applause. This software will revolutionize the world of finance. Our algorithm can analyze market data millions of times per second to make optimal investment decisions. As Gabriel continued his presentation, Sarah noticed how professional and charismatic he was. But dear guests, Gabriel said, stopping and surveying the audience, before presenting this software to you, I want to share a very important matter. A curious silence filled the hall. Recently, our company was the target of a sabotage attempt. Some people tried to steal our software, as well as large sums of money from our company accounts. The hall started to stir, but Gabriel continued in a calm voice. To neutralize this sabotage, I worked very hard with my team. Thanks to the courage and intelligence of Sarah Grace, a member of my team, this conspiracy was exposed. He pointed to Sarah, who stood up. The room turned to her. Miss Grace works in our accounting department, but she is actually a very talented professional and a Columbia University finance graduate. Without her, we might not have noticed the sabotage. The hall applauded Sarah. She gave Gabriel a grateful look. Gabriel continued. This incident showed us that success is possible not only by having a good product, but also by surrounding ourselves with the right people. Emma was smiling proudly too. And now, I promise you, this software is completely safe. The sabotage attempt failed completely, and Stone Financial Technologies will continue on its path stronger. The Goldman Sachs representative stood up. Mr. Stone, your crisis management approach is impressive. Our confidence in you has increased. Other investors gave similar reactions. Gabriel had managed to turn the crisis into an opportunity. For the rest of the presentation, he explained the technical details of the hedge software, showed demos, and answered questions. Everything was going perfectly. When the meeting ended, investors approached Gabriel. Mr. Stone, we want to invest in this software, said the J.P. Morgan representative. Us too, said the Blackstone director. We're offering you a $200 million investment. The Goldman Sachs representative made an even higher offer. We offer $300 million, as well as a strategic partnership. Gabriel listened to the offers with joy, but his mind was on Sarah. By 7 p.m., all meetings and discussions were over. Gabriel had achieved his greatest success, but he most wanted to share it with Sarah. She was waiting for him in his office. "Gabriel, you were magnificent. The investors were amazed by you." He ran to her, lifted her up, and spun her around. "Sarah, we did it. I received $500 million in investment offers." Sarah laughed with joy. "Amazing, Gabriel. I'm so happy." Just then, there was a knock on the door, and Detective Alex Morrison entered. "Mr. Stone, Miss Grace, I apologize for disturbing you, but I have great news for you." Gabriel and Sarah turned to him. "What news, Detective?" Detective Morrison was smiling. "We caught Judas Hunter at JFK Airport. He was trying to escape with Ava. They are both now in custody." Gabriel took a relieved breath. Finally! Jake was also arrested. All three are being interrogated and have confessed. The financial crimes prosecutor is examining the file. They'll all receive long sentences. Sarah asked curiously, "What will happen to the stolen money?" The detective had surprising news. "Miss Grace, all the money will be recovered. Actually, more than that. Money will also be recovered from Ava's other frauds. The total is around $25 million. Gabriel was surprised. "$25 million? Yes, Mr. Stone. Now your company is completely clean." This sabotage attempt failed completely. After the detective left, Gabriel turned to Sarah. "Sarah, I want to host a special dinner for the employees to celebrate this success. What do you think?" Sarah smiled. "Great idea, Gabriel. Everyone deserves this." Gabriel gave a secret smile. "Then let me make reservations for tomorrow evening." The next evening, Gabriel gathered all of the company's senior employees at one of Manhattan's most prestigious restaurants. Emma, Victor, and the other employees sat at tables celebrating the company's success. Gabriel stood up and raised his champagne glass. "Dear friends, thank you for your loyalty and courage during these difficult days." The room erupted in applause. "But I'm especially grateful to one person," Gabriel said, looking at Sarah. "Sarah Grace, without you, this conspiracy wouldn't have been exposed, and our company could have been ruined." Sarah shyly lowered her head. Gabriel continued, "Sarah, you're not just a brilliant employee. You've brought courage, honesty, and love into my life." The hall fell silent as everyone watched Gabriel curiously. He took a small box from his pocket and walked toward Sarah. "Sarah Grace," he said, kneeling down. "Will you marry me?" Sarah was shocked. Her mouth fell open. The hall held its breath. Gabriel opened the box to reveal a magnificent diamond ring. "You're the meaning of my life, Sarah. I want to build a future with you." Sarah nodded through tears. "Yes, Gabriel. Yes." Gabriel put the ring on her finger, stood up, and said, the hall filled with wild applause. They kissed passionately. Gabriel spoke into the microphone. "Sarah, I have one more surprise for you." Sarah looked at him curiously. "I already funded your mother's surgery. Dr. Williams called yesterday. The surgery went perfectly, and your mother will make a full recovery." Sarah was shocked. "Gabriel, when?" "Last week, without your knowledge." "You're my family now, Sarah. Your mother is my mother too." Sarah hugged Gabriel, crying with joy. "I love you so much, Gabriel." "I love you too, Sarah." The hall applauded and stood up. Everyone shared the couple's happiness. Emma watched them, smiling. "Gabriel and Sarah, I have one more thing to tell you. I congratulate you both on managing this crisis so well. You've become a real team." Gabriel turned to Emma. "Emma, you're an important part of this team too. We achieved this success together." That evening, Gabriel and Sarah visited the hospital. They were eager to see Laurel Grace and share the good news with her. When they entered the hospital room, Laurel was awake and looked better. "Mom, we have good news for you," Sarah said, holding her mother's hand. "What news, my daughter?" Gabriel stepped forward. "Mrs. Grace, I'm Gabriel Stone, Sarah's fiancé." Laurel was surprised. "Fiancé? Sarah showed her hand. The diamond ring sparkled. Mom, Gabriel proposed to me. Laurel started crying with joy. My daughter, I'm so happy. Gabriel, you'll take good care of Sarah, won't you? Gabriel answered sincerely. Mrs. Grace, I love Sarah very much, and I'll take the best care of her. I'll also cover the surgery expenses. Laurel was surprised. But that's so much money. Sarah hugged her mother. Mom, don't worry. Gabriel is a very good person, and we're a family now. Gabriel added, Mrs. Grace, you're my family now, too. Taking care of you is my responsibility. Laurel hugged them both through tears. As they left the hospital, Sarah took Gabriel's arm. Gabriel, today was so perfect. Business success, a marriage proposal, and my mother's recovery. Everything is like a dream. Gabriel kissed Sarah. Sarah, this is just the beginning. Many more beautiful days await us. A week later, Laurel's surgery went perfectly. The doctors said she would make a full recovery. Sarah was very happy. That same week, Gabriel promoted her to financial director. She was now an important partner to both her fiancé and the company. Meanwhile, Emma became the security director, and Victor became the marketing director. Gabriel rewarded everyone. A month later, the court decisions were released. Ava Blackwood received a 12-year sentence, Jake received an 8-year sentence, and Judas received a 3-year sentence because he showed remorse. Gabriel had visited Judas in prison. Gabriel, I'm very sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me, but know that I'm truly sorry. Gabriel looked sad but understanding. Judas, you're like a brother to me. After you finish serving your sentence, I'll give you another chance. Really? There's always a second chance in family, Judas. 3 months after Gabriel and Sarah got engaged, they began planning their wedding. They rented a magnificent venue near Central Park. Gabriel, are you happy? Sarah asked during one of the wedding rehearsals. Sarah, being with you brings me more happiness than I ever dreamed possible. You're the most beautiful thing in my life. You are mine too, Gabriel. Now we're really a family. When the wedding day arrived, 300 guests were on the guest list. Work colleagues, friends, and family members were all there. Everyone had come to share the happiness of the Stone Grace couple. Sarah looked magnificent in her wedding dress. Gabriel's eyes filled with tears when he saw her. You're so beautiful, Sarah. You're very handsome too, Gabriel. They were both very emotional during the wedding ceremony. Gabriel Stone, do you promise to love Sarah Grace in sickness and in health, for better or for worse, and to be her husband as long as you both shall live? I do. Sarah Grace, do you accept to love Gabriel Stone in sickness and health, in wealth and poverty, for life? I do. You are now husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Gabriel and Sarah kissed passionately, and the hall filled with applause. For their honeymoon, they went to Paris. While walking under the Eiffel Tower, Gabriel took Sarah's hand. Sarah, do you remember how this adventure started? Sarah smiled. You weren't listening to me, you were angry with me. Now you know how grateful I am to you. Gabriel, I'm grateful to you too. You gave me back my dreams. And you taught me love. They kissed in the Paris night, celebrating the beginning of their new lives together. Gabriel and Sarah Stone were not only a couple but also business partners. Stone Financial Technologies had become a giant company thanks to the success of their hedge fund software. A year later, Sarah became pregnant, and 9 months later, a beautiful baby girl was born. They named her Hope because she symbolized their hope. Gabriel adapted very well to his role as a father. Sarah was a perfect mother and a successful financial director. Laurel had fully recovered and was happy to spend time with her granddaughter. You're very lucky, my daughter, she told Sarah one day. Gabriel is a perfect husband and father. I know, Mom. I love him very much too. 2 years later, together with Emma, Victor, and other team members, they expanded Stone Financial Technologies even further. The company had now become a billion-dollar technology giant. Gabriel and Sarah's story began to be told on Wall Street as a triumph of honesty, courage, and love. One evening, while Gabriel was playing with Hope at home, Sarah approached him. "Gabriel, do we deserve this much happiness?" Gabriel smiled and hugged Sarah. "Sarah, we built this happiness with honesty, courage, and love. Of course we deserve it." Gabriel understood that life's greatest treasures came after overcoming difficulties. Real happiness is built with the right people and the right values.